Hi, welcome back. Certainly glad you could join us today. I thought today we'd do something that's really cold, so you better get out your big coat and put it on. Let's start out and have run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with us. While they're doing that, let me show you what I've got going. I have my standard old pre-stretched double prime canvas up here, and I've just covered the entire canvas with a very thin, even coat of liquid white. So it's all wet and ready to go, so let's do it. Let's start out today with the old 2-inch brush. We'll go into a small amount of the Midnight Black, a little Prussian blue, and just mix them together on the brush here. Mostly black though. I just put the blue in there to flavor it a little bit. All right, let's just have some fun. Very little color here. I'm just going to go in here and just barely graze the canvas and put in a little background color. Just a little, just a little. I don't want this to be too dark because I think I'll put some clouds in here. This is my background color. But the clouds will be the same color, only darker. There we go. Something about like that. Just enough to flavor the canvas a little. Okay, before we get too dark, tell you what, let's have some water in this one. If you've painted with me before, you know I'm crazy about water. Probably just crazy, but I'm crazy about water. Same color. And I'll go right down in here and just pull from the outside in, and we'll lay in a little color that eventually, if everything goes right, will be water. There. About like that. And very lightly, we'll just go across the entire canvas. But that little light area stays in there. That's what we were looking for. Now then, let's have some fun. Black and blue. Mostly black, though. Once again, the blue's in there just to flavor it a little bit. All right, let's go up in here. Now then, let's have some big old clouds, and we're just gonna tap these in. I'm just gonna use a whole 2-inch brush and just tap in some very basic cloud shapes. Maybe it comes down, goes up, I don't know, wherever you want them. Just tap them in. There, a little more color on the brush. There we are, just tap it in. Something about like that. And you make your own mind up where you think your cloud should live, because we all see nature through different eyes. So I want you to paint what you see. There. All right, something about like that. Maybe a little more over here. Okay. Today, tell you what. I'm going to show you a new brush. Today I'm going to introduce you to a little blender brush. This is a very soft little blender brush, and we can just blend right over the top of all of that. Very, very soft brush. It's much, much softer than the normal brushes we use. There. And this one's fantastic because it's thicker than most of them, and most important, it has a round handle. And the round handle allows you to actually paint with it and spin it. There we go. See how you can just blend right over all those beautiful little things? Look at there. Now then we just wipe that on a paper towel. I want to come back with a knife, take some pure titanium white, and I want a bright area right up in here. So I'm just going to take that titanium white, and as my son Steve says, we're just going to smoosh it right into the canvas, like that. Okay? Like the sun's maybe behind that old dark cloud there. So we're just going to smoosh it right in there. Just really press it in there firmly. There. Then we go back to our little blender brush, and this is where this brush is so fantastic. You can just blend right over that. That easy. And I'm going to tap the corner of this brush into a little white, just a little bit of the titanium white. See, we're actually going to paint with this blender in places. And with that, then we can go up in here and just spinning it around, we can make the indication of very soft little fluffy clouds that live in there. There, if you want to make it look like there's a few rays coming out through there, you can just pull it. Those might not show up very much, but in your painting, you'll see them. And you can make them as distinct as you want. And that gives us a pretty good old winter sky. It looks sort of dreary and cold, and whew, Looks like there's a storm coming already. As I say, you better get out your heavy coat. Let's take Prussian blue, midnight black, put some alizarin crimson in it, maybe even a little Van Dyke. Good dark color. Predominantly blue though. Pull it out as flat as you can get it, cut across, get a little roll of paint. Goes right on the edge of the knife. And our world, maybe, yep, we'll just put us a big old mountain lives right up here. Just decide where you think it should live and drop it in. And the only thing that we're worried about in this particular mountain is the top. We could care less what's happening below it. Just that nice edge is all we're looking for. Take a 2-inch brush, grab it and pull it. Because we have liquid white on the canvas, we can move this color. There, see, just let it go. Make a big old mountain that just lives right in there like that. Come back with our titanium white. Pull it out as flat as we can get it, cut across, and we have a little roll of paint. And we just go right in there. And with that, let's put some nice highlights on this mountain. Big old snow-covered mountain. Whew. I lived in Alaska for almost a dozen years. And we saw a lot of this kind of scenery. Gorgeous place. Absolutely gorgeous. There we go. We'll take some white, a little Prussian blue, mix it together. And with that, we'll make a nice little shadow color. Just blue and white. There. Good coal color. Cut off our little roll of paint again. And we go up here. Touch. No pressure. Just let it flow. Grab. Now we're going to push that little peak back. Go right through it. See how it pushed it right in the background? There. No pressure though. You want the paint to break like that. To have those little holes in it. That's what makes it so pretty. Makes it actually look like something's happening in there. Little white, let's break up that straight edge. It bothers me that it's so straight. There. We'll come right in here. Put a little shadow under him. Shoot, we got a little mountain going right there. Clean, dry 2-inch brush. I want to create a little mist. Tap the base of it. Lift upward. Always following those angles that are in the mountain. There we go. Now then, today let's have a little fun. Let's do 2 ranges of mountains, just to show you how you can put one mountain in front of another. Maybe over here we have a huge mountain, wherever you want it. Big, strong old mountain. Maybe there's a bump there. Something about like that. See, you have to make these big decisions in your world. Where does all these things live? You decide. And then just drop them in. That's what's so fantastic about this style of painting. You get an idea in your mind, and before it escapes, you can just put it in. You can drop it right in. Back to our 2-inch brush, we grab it, and we pull. There we go. This does 2 things. First of all, maybe most important, it removes excess paint so that it's easier to put the next layer on. Secondly, it blends it downward. It creates that soft, misty look at the base. And when you're painting mountains, that's what you're looking for. All right. Back to our titanium white. We'll put some highlights right out in here. There it is. See, wherever you want them. There, maybe right in here. See, there's one. Here comes one. Just let it flow right on through. Just make big decisions. Drop it in. You have unlimited power here. Because you know you can do anything that you believe you can do. Anything that you believe you can do. There we go. Right up into here. Shoot, look at that. Big old strong mountain. There. Just wherever. Something about like that. I love mountains. I think they're one of the most fun things there is to paint. And of course, none of us are interested in selling paintings, but if you are, it still seems to be the thing that sells better than anything else. It's just great big old mountains. People love them. They fit in almost any decor. don't think there's anybody that doesn't like mountains. Well, maybe there is. There we are. Just bring it right on down. And here and there and there and here you can go in, figure out where you want a little projection to be. Put a little shadow behind it and automatically it'll stand right up in your world. Okay, back to our nice, dry, clean 2-inch brush. Can begin lifting, working, tapping. Always follow those angles though. I want to create the illusion of distance here. So you create that misty effect down at the base. Now then, sometimes we'll just take that old brush, go right into some mountain color, a little bit of white, maybe a touch more white. There. Just load a little color in it. There. See? Let's go up in here. Maybe there's some little areas right here that grow right up the side. Just tap them in wherever you think they should be. And that we're going to lift upward and make it look like little trees that are growing back here. Little trees that grow right up the side of the mountain. I like that. That's a neat, very easy way to put in an indication of a lot of little distant trees. See them? Shoot, that's where you'd ski, is right down between those. Hopefully not into them, but beside them. I'm not a very good skier. I'd probably run right over them. There. That's the reason I took up painting. It's a lot safer. There, just lift upward. Like that. Now then, when we got that old color on the brush, let's just come right in here. Pull it straight down. Same color. Just pull it straight down. Like that. And then go across. And we can have instant reflections. If you want to put a highlight, take a little titanium white here and there. Don't overdo this though. You'll ruin the effect. Just a little here and there. And then go across. Just enough to wiggle it a little. See, it makes it look like light shining in there. But don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. It gets feeling good sometimes and you don't know when to stop. Take a little of the liquid white, cut across it. We'll go right up in here. And just put in a little tiny waterline is right there. This is just a light area between the two darks. It sort of separates. And it also looks like little places where snow's laying out in the water. There we go. Isn't that nice? Maybe there's a big old thing out in here. Whatever. It's up to you. Up to you. All right, let's have some fun. Time to get crazy. Let's mix up some Prussian blue, some black, crimson. Whew, a lot of color there. Dark. It should look black. But it has a blue base to it. I'll even put a little brown in it. Keep it dull. There. Let me wipe off the old knife. And we just wipe the knife on some paper towels. Let's grab a fan brush. Load it full of color. A lot of color. And let's do us a little evergreen tree. Now I'm going to be going over a lot of snow here, so I'm going to dip the brush into a little bit of paint thinner, just a small amount, because you know our golden rule of thin paint will stick to a thick paint. So it'll make it a little easier when we go right over all of this. It'll stick a little easier. Here comes a nice tree. There, see? There he comes. Maybe a little of his trunk showing right there. I like to do trees that have a little bit of trunk showing, a little naked spot on them. Sometimes that's sort of neat looking in painting, because trees grow that way. They're not all perfect. They're like us. There. Or at least like me. I got a lot of flaws. Whew, boy, do I have a lot of flaws. I'm not even going to talk about them. There we go. Have another little tree right there. And maybe, who knows, maybe there's another one that's hiding. Maybe he's behind back here. I don't know. Maybe, yep. In your world, you decide how many or how few trees live there and just drop them in. Just drop them in wherever you want them. That easy. Let's give him a friend. He's sitting over here by himself. Shoot. You'll get lonely. You know me, I think everybody should have a friend. All right, now, if this is water, maybe we'll end up reflecting these down into the water. So I'll just sort of do a real basic little shot here, backwards, just to put the indication of a little something in the water. See there? We don't care if it's not perfect because we're going to take a big brush and just sort of go right over it. Let me find a nice clean brush, very lightly. One hair and some air, just enough to disturb it a little bit. See the old trees? Now we got to give them something to set on. Right now they're just sort of, they're sort of floating around out there in the water. So we have to put some land in there. Tell you what, while we got the old tree brush going, we don't want this side left out. Let's put a big tree over here. Just a big old tree. I like this kind of painting because it'll give you a lot of practice with a knife and with a fan brush. But the old knife, if you'll spend some time learning to use that son of a gun, you can paint entire paintings with it. On some of the earlier shows, we did paintings using nothing but the knife. It's a little hard to do in the time frame we have, but try it. It's a little slower than using brushes, but you can get some effects that you cannot get using a brush. Absolutely cannot get. Oh, another tree there. There we go. See, there he comes. There. And if you learn to make one tree, shoot, you can make 1,000,000 trees. That's all it takes. Just get them right out of your brush. Tell you what, let's take got a little blue and white here. Since this is such a cold looking painting, I'm going to just use that color to make the indication of a few little trunks here and there. There. Normally we'd use brown, but I want this painting to stay cold, real cold. There. Now let's take another fan brush. I'm going to dip it into a little bit of the liquid white, titanium white. I put it in the liquid white just to make it a little bit thinner, then a little bit of the Prussian blue. Want a nice blue color, a little darker. So you can make it any flavor you want. I want it a little darker. Okay, let's go up here. Now with this brush, we're going to come in here and put the indication here and there, not much though, of some gorgeous little highlights that live right out on these trees. Not much, not much. Don't overdo. Keep this dark. It's contrast in this painting that makes it so pretty. Keep them dark. There, see? All right, on the other side over here, we'll do a little here. I don't want this tree left out. And these trees will get mad if you forget them, ignore them. I had one chase me all the way across the studio here one day. There. I'm a little weird. I go out and talk to trees and animals and stuff like that. But that's okay. That's okay. I have more fun than most people do too. All right. 1-inch brush here. Let's put in a little bush here and there. I want some nice little snow-covered bushes, so we'll just do this. All right, let's go over here and put one in here too. There, look at there. Here it comes, here it comes. Where's it going? You knew, didn't you? There we go. You decide where they live. Now then, let me wash that old brush out. Just shake it off. Beat the devil out of it, and off we go. Let's see here. Let's take a little bit of white, come right back in here, put the indication of a little bit of snow under here. Just a little snow. Gotta have something for all this to sit on. It's just sort of hanging out here in the lake right now, or stream, river, whatever it is. Dip the brush into liquid white, and then I'm going to pull it in one direction through the titanium white. The liquid white is there only to thin the titanium white. Pull it in one direction, then we're going to carefully turn it over. Okay, let's go up in here. And with that, then we're going to come in here and put some gorgeous little highlights on these little rascals. See them? Little snow-covered bushes that live out here. Because this is cold. There they are. Let's give them a little friend. And you put them wherever you think they should live. There we go. Go on the other side and put some over there too. Don't want them left out. There's one. But don't let the brush slide when you're doing this. Just give it a little push. Bend the bristles a tiny bit. Tiny bit. And if you start picking up that base color excessively, you're always going to pick up a little. But if you pick it up excessively, then your paint on your brush is too thick. Add a little touch more of the liquid white to it. There. Oh, it looks cold. I think the temperature here where we're painting has dropped 10 or 15 degrees just since we started this. I like to paint paintings like this. Gorgeous. All right, now then, tell you what. Let's get crazy today. Maybe in our world lives a little house out here, because I'd like to live in a place like this. So take your knife, scrape out a basic shape. That just removes excess paint. We'll take a little of the Van Dyke brown, a little dark sienna mixed together. We'll put the back roof in first, back eave, like that. That's all there is to it. And we'll put the front in. And all we're doing here is just blocking in color. It doesn't much matter. You could do this any old way you wanted to. Just blocking in color. Then we take some little white, little dark sienna, a little Van Dyke brown, mix them together so they're marbled. Cut across and very lightly. Barely touch. Just like you're putting snow on the mountain. Barely touch. Just touch it. Pull. Maybe a little more over here so it shows up. Oh, that's nice. That's so nice. Take a little dark color. Just make it look like old boards. A little of Van Dyke. Got a little door. A little touch of light color. Sort of outline it so we know where the door is at. Shoot. Now all we need is the other half the roof so he doesn't freeze. So we'll take a little bit of the titanium white. Just put it on right there. Ooh, like that. Now we need a little over here. So it looks like the snow's deep on the roof up here. Okay. Now, we'll just take a little touch of snow, put right down here, wherever. Right on across. See there? But pay attention to angles. You want that to flow. Because chances are if there's water out here, it's in a recessed area. Normally water always is in this recessed area. So, all right. We can come back. Let me find my brush that we was making bushes with. Come back. A little liquid white, titanium white. And let's put some little bushes all around here. Look at them. See? They're about to eat up right around the front door there. All right. A little bit. Maybe this guy's like me. He didn't cut his yard very good in the summer. And now the bushes are growing right up like that. We could even take a little touch of blue and white. Let's make an indication of maybe a little path that comes right out here. So he's got a way to walk out. Take the knife, scrape in a few little sticks and twigs here and there. Something like so. A little bit of the liquid white. Put a water line into here. Something about like that. I like these kind of paintings. I say they'll give you a lot of practice with the old knife. And that's what you need. That's what you need. A few little sticks over here. Just scrape right through the paint. Let the canvas show through. All right. I think we got a finished painting here. Hope you enjoy this one. Give it a try. Send me a photo of what you do. From all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting, and God bless, my friend.